So there's a lot of stuff here. It is official. Jackson Dart, Michael Trigg Jr., both at Ole Miss. Both part of the Ole Miss football team.
In class today, apparently.
Well, I didn't go to class to see them, so I cannot confirm that with my own eyes, but I will trust your sourcing on that, Michael Borky.
And a third player over the weekend as well, not near the fanfare as a quarterback, and a Southern Cal quarterback that wears puka shells at that, but they technically added 3 over the weekend.
So Jared Ivey from Georgia Tech. North Gwinnett High School, Georgia Tech makes the transfer. And this is one that Georgia Tech was upset about, right?
They were. So if you look at the stats, the raw stats, they don't tell you the entire story because he's a guy with, if he gets the COVID year, with 3 years of eligibility remaining and was expected to have a massive role on the team this coming season. Not as much last year. But, I mean, he's a guy that you hear the story so often, and this is why I talk about the portal so glowingly, because you get 3 years with this guy to play defensive end for you, and Georgia Tech did all the heavy lifting. They signed him, and his recruiting profile listed him at 215. And it looked like that was kind of a generous 215. Now he's 275. So he spent 2 years in a college strength and conditioning program. He has put on at least 60 pounds, looks the part now of a defensive end, and now you get him with multiple years remaining. You didn't have to do any of the work, and yet you still get the player.
I put on 60 pounds in a college program.
Yeah, same here.
What did you say this morning, Borky?
I said, this guy gained 60 pounds in a year, and everybody calls it awesome. I gained 60 pounds in a year, and my dad gives me P90X and tells me to get my stuff together.
It's good stuff.
It did. I had to spend a summer working in a tire warehouse, so that was a good life lesson for me.
Did it help you shed the LBs?
Oh, it was incredible. So right now, I'm about 210. I'm roughly 6'2". I give myself 6'2", 210. My playing weight in high school was 235, but that was muscular. I go to college. I obviously am not working out. I go from 235 to 3 bills in about 2 years. I had a medical...
Wait, you hit 300 pounds?
I had a medical procedure done where I weighed in the morning of the procedure at 295 pounds.
It's close to 3.
So I gained 60 pounds in 2.5 years in college.
Got any of those clothes still?
They were mostly the same ones. So it was a tough fit. The options kept getting smaller and smaller.
Couldn't bring yourself to go to Casual Mail and pick up a new shirt?
Fewer and fewer options.
And you want to wear yoga pants.
Oh, now I guess I could pull it off, I suppose. But yeah, it was tough. I mean, thank goodness for fraternity shirts, because you could, they would give them to you, and you could request the bigger size. So that's how most of my clothes were supplemented my junior year. Had to work in a tire warehouse. And my dad did get me P90X and told me to get in shape because I looked ridiculous. And so I would work out in the morning, work in a summer tire warehouse, and then work out at night. And it all fell off of me. It was amazing. And now I'm back to looking like this.
Somebody said, is Borky taller than Richard?
Not by much, and probably depends on the shoes we got on.
Never thought you were, but maybe so.
The picture that runs on the promo of the show when it's the three of us standing next to each other, I'm taller. But again, that could just be because of the product of the shoes we're wearing.
There you go. So what does this all mean for Ole Miss? Remember, we go back to National Signing Day, and Ole Miss is, 12th or 13th in the SEC in terms of their recruiting ranking. It's still a top 30 class, top 25 class, but there was some to be desired. Frustration among Ole Miss fans. But since then, Ole Miss has added Jared Ivey as a defensive end, J.J. Pegues as a defensive tackle, Michael Trigg as a tight end, Troy Brown as a linebacker, Jackson Dart as a quarterback. Let's see here. Who else? I got the entire list. Isheem Young as a safety, the transfer from Iowa State. Mason Brooks from Western Kentucky on the offensive line. Jordan Watkins, a receiver from Louisville. Ladarius Tennyson, a safety from Auburn. I guess that's it. For some reason, I was thinking that I missed someone. And potentially the running back from Vanderbilt, running back or receiver from
wide
Vanderbilt?
receiver. I mean, they're going to add a few more bodies, presumably after spring practice, because that's kind of just how this works. And also, don't forget about Jalen Knox. He was the Missouri receiver transfer that had to sit out this past season. But he will be full go, and he caught 500 yards worth of passes for Missouri in 2020. So what this means is it's exclusively on paper, right? These guys got to come in, and they've got to perform to what the potential is. That's kind of how this works. But on paper, life after Matt Corral is less of a rebuild than initially thought a month ago. Because on paper, you have added immediate impact guys at positions of need. You lost 3 running backs, 2 to the NFL, 1 to the portal. You replaced it with a 5-star in Zach Evans, and you've got...
Let me interrupt. I did not mention Zach Evans in that rundown.
You've got him. So you lose Dontario Drummond and Braylon Sanders. Well, you bring in 2 wide receivers with D1 experience. Will they be as good as them? I don't know, but you have those bodies there now. You lose Chance Campbell at linebacker. Well, you bring in a 3-time first-team All-MAC selection whose 2 best games last year were against the Power 5 opponents he played against. Well, you lose Jacob Springer. Well, you add a safety from Iowa State who, when you watch him play, is an elite-level run-stopping safety, just like Jacob Springer. And suddenly you look at this team and you think, if these guys perform to what the paper says that they are, sure, you think the team is still going to take a step backwards of some kind, but not near the cliff that a lot of people thought they were going to fall off of, because all of these players are instant impact players. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal.